Hey, how you doing? This is SEIJIHITO here to bring you some more videos on this February, this great National Black History Month. Yeah, it's quite a time, but instead of me talking, we're going to get directly right into it, and we're going to start off with a video of a young woman who had to tell one of her parents off, who was directly from the islands, because she decided, her mother, I mean, decided that she wanted to speak negatively about Black Americans. Mm, mm, mm. Let's get into it.
I understand why African Americans kicked Marcus Garvey out of this country during the civil rights movement. I just got into it with my Jamaican mother, who's a naturalized citizen to this country, because she had the nerve to be spewing some coonery bullshit in my freaking ear, and I went all the way off on her bombo clot. Me no care, okay? Me no care. You would not have the mobility that you've got in this country and all of the benefits that you take advantage of in this country if it weren't for Black Americans. You're disrespectful, and I'm going to tell you about yourself. You had the nerve to be like, oh, I became a U.S. citizen because you and your sister were pressuring me to do that. No, you became a U.S. citizen because you wanted a voice in this country and you wanted to vote. But all you've done is bring your cooning for the crown behavior over to the United States, and you refuse to be lumped in with African Americans. Time and time and time again, you talk this coonery bullshit in my fucking ear. And especially right now, during Black History Month, I'm not standing for that shit. Me not around put you, me not care, okay? Because he never should have said that shit to me just now. I've been on this planet for damn near 32 years, and I have had my own fair share of discrimination and hardship because of the color of my skin. Nobody ever asked me, are you Black Caribbean? Are you this? Are you that? They just automatically assume. They look me up and down and they're like, okay, well, you're Black, period, dot, next. These white people don't give a damn what flavor of Black you are. And I'm sick and tired of Caribbeans, Black Caribbeans, and Black people from foreign lands acting like they're different. You're not different, and you would not be able to move in this country the way you move if it weren't for Black Americans. Have some damn respect. Me don't give no bombo clot that you pushed me out of your pussy almost 32 years ago. I'm gonna tell you off today, because you never should have said that. That shit never should have came out of your mouth. You're so different. Why you want ball and complain about all of the hardship that you face being a Black woman, an immigrant Black woman in this country, if color doesn't matter? And if you really don't align with Black Americans, why the fuck would you turn around and have kids by two different Black men if you really don't fuck with us like that? This woman has no idea that she gave birth to her karma. Me no care. Me no care. Okay, and if that's really how you feel, keep that shit over in Jamaica. How about that? How about that? If you don't want to be lumped in with African Americans and you don't want to be in solidarity with African Americans, take your ass back to Jamaica and keep that coonery bullshit over there for the crown. Okay? Okay. Me done shot.
So I just want to give a shout out to Pink Ty. We got Gail. We got one of many. We got Joaquin. We got Manny in here. And we got Perfectly. What is up? What is up? What is up? What I would like to state is that big ups to any of the folks out there that are Caribbean and you speak up to your family and your friends who decide to speak negatively towards Black Americans. And you know the reason why it is that you're even existing in this country right now is due to the fact of Black Americans. Shout out to y'all, because there is a few rare of you guys directly out there that will speak out, that will go against the grain, that will call out your family, friends, coworkers, and all of these things. Because again, Black Americans have tried to do this for the longest time possible. But whenever we just so happen to speak, say something, People don't listen. People turn up their noses. People want to say this, that, and the third, and nobody wants to listen. So again, it takes for those who are of that nation, of that culture, to realistically call out their own people and put them on Front Street. And she did this to her own mother. So, like I said, that takes a lot. It takes a lot for somebody to do, to call out one of their own parents on how wrong it is that they decide to move and speak about another group of people. Like I said, shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Mm, mm. Much love. Mm. Pink was like, my mother is from Trinidad, and I had a similar conversation with her about this. Like I said, much love and respect to all of y'all out there that go through this and have these conversations. When I know, a lot of people ain't really trying to have the conversations, but conversations have to be had. Have to be had. And technically, touching on this whole thing, there's going to be another video, I want to say towards the end, where I'm going to have to read off a little bit of information as well, because it's going to be a roundabout that's going to take place. But again, we're dealing with This Is American. And also shout out to anybody who's coming directly into the chat at the moment in time. I'm not even sure how many we have at this moment. We got a shout out to the 37 on the original channel and the 43 on the secondary channel. Much love, respect, and appreciation. But let's continue.
And what's a weaker look than sitting in your own Oval Office while another man who helped you get there is giving a press conference while you sit there in your little cuck chair? How embarrassing is that? How weak of a look is that? A man wearing a baseball cap who brought his kid in like it's no big deal. He's giving a press conference while you sit there like a simp. He owns you. You're Elon's. Not only is Trump Elon's 4-year-old son made Trump his. Elon's son told Trump, I want you to shut your mouth up.
This is from one year to the next are the same, and they're
right. And look at Trump's reaction after. Look, that's a defeated man. He's not a leader. Trump is the kid also told him, you're not the president. You need to go away. The kid told him this. I wonder where he got that from. And then the little son of a finished it off by wiping his boogers on a Resolute desk. This is where we're at, people. This is where we're at in 2025. This is scary and hilarious because every Elon simp out there is also a Trump simp. So what to root for? Elon is making Trump his. Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? What's going to happen now? Are you going to switch cults? What's going to happen? People, we have a weak, vengeful, criminal loser leading the country right now, okay? He talks trash when he's on the toilet, miles away from people, right? But look at him sitting next to Putin, and look at him sitting next to Elon. He's everyone's. Don't tell me he can't be bought. This country's in trouble.
So again, to a lot of people that decided to vote, and I'm the type of person that's been telling people for the longest time possible, I don't have any dog in this race because none of the candidates had the best interest for Black Americans. They just did not. They've always had the interest of other people, be it immigrants, be it people of different communities, such as the LGBT, such as the Jewish community, such as those coming from war-torn areas, such as over in Europe, and so on and so on and so on. Right? Even the Asian Americans at a point in time had legislation passed. Everybody else had legislation passed except for Black Americans. Right? We really didn't get the things that we deserved, the things that we really wanted, the things that we actually needed. And because of this, you had a lot of Black Americans that tended to sit this election out. But as I've told people before, even if you have Black Americans sit the election out, somebody will still get placed directly in office. Right? Because again, you got the electoral colleges. If you don't know about the electoral colleges and their power and their pull and how important that they are, even though they are a minority, you might want to do some research. But irregardless of that, you had two demographics which voted specifically and directly for Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States. Number one were men and women of the white American percentile. And number 2 were men and women of the Latin percentile, the highest votes directly out there, on top of the fact that you had Asians and you also had Native Americans and many other folks directly out there that also voted for Trump. But mainly you had 2 white demographics that voted for him. And I'm trying to figure out how they will try to excuse what took place. Are they going to try to say that it was AI, that Elon's son, it was just like some AI type of sabotage to make Trump look bad? Because that wasn't AI. That kid literally told him off. Literally told the president of the United States, sitting in the Oval Office in his chair, told him to shut your mouth, told him you are not the president. Ooh. Ooh. And you know, the funniest thing is, you don't see a lot of them online trying to talk about this or bring this up for whatever reason. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit odd. And again, this is something that I've never seen before ever in my life. Out of all of the presidents that I've been able to see in my existence, I've never seen a president get disrespected like this. And I'm like, where are the Caucasian Americans that voted for Trump? Like, why aren't you guys angry and mad about this? Why aren't you guys in an uproar that Elon, who is an immigrant, South African, I might add, whose son is technically an anchor child, all intents and purposes, if you want to go that far, was in the office? And it wasn't like Trump was, in a sense, giving a speech. It was as the guy the bald guy that you see at the bottom of the screen. It was Elon that was giving a press conference. Elon could have given a press conference at SpaceX, at Tesla, at his home, wherever. But he did it inside of the White House, dressed as normal as can be, with a cap on and everything. Again, just full on disrespect, aka basically showing like, hey, I can do whatever it is that I want to, and so can my kid, because we are basically America. This is what you voted for. Again, I'm just trying to figure out, white Americans, where are you guys at? This is diabolical. How do you allow something like this to even take place, to allow your guy, a Caucasian man, to be disrespected on television like this? And the funniest thing is, when I go back and think about, let's say, like the Obama administration, I can't point to like disrespect like this. I can't even point to disrespect like this. This is crazy. And you guys are literally sitting here and taking this? Wow. Again, how far you guys have fallen. And as he stated, America is a laughingstock. And I just want to state that America's not a laughingstock because of Black Americans. This has little to nothing to do with Black Americans that you see here. This has everything to do with you. But the main thing that you guys want to be so hyped about, and the main things that you guys want to be so rah about, when Kendrick was doing at halftime, oh, it was boring, it was this, it was that, why does politics have to be involved? You guys should have gave us Taylor Swift. We should have had Sabrina Carpenter. You guys could have had Aerosmith or Bon Jovi, anybody else. Why does everything have to be about race? Get this BLM madness off of my screen, right? That's what you guys wanted to do, because you guys didn't want to pay attention to the obvious. And the funny thing is, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out the images and everything that was going on. But when I went through X, aka Twitter, and I saw a lot of you guys complaining, y'all didn't even know what it is that y'all were even talking about. It's like asking you guys the definition again of woke. You don't even know. You're just using and going off of and feeding off of whatever it is that other like-minded people like you are saying. So it's dumb leading the dumb, leading the dumber, leading the dumbest. That's it. That's it. So it's like, realistically, it's quite ridiculous of me to actually expect you guys to care about something as important as this, such as the view of how you look sitting in the Oval Office, being the leader of the first world, getting disrespected by a child. And an immigrant child at that. Oh man. Ooh. The mighty have fallen. But this is America. This is America. Mm, mm, mm. It's crazy. Well, Slim Dog, I don't know exactly who you're talking to. You might want to, at least at or state that you're speaking on the video. I'll give you some time because we have a lot of trolls that happen to come through on this channel. But let's continue.
Of color, but I do know that if I were a woman of color, my number one thing, like no brainer, would be that I would have no white women friends, because one, the odds of that white woman being like a good person are low. The odds are against you because she's probably going to be a white supremacist. She's probably going to be at least racist minimally, and at the very, very least, she's going to most likely tie herself to white men above all else, like above other women. Two, the amount of weaponization of emotion that I see just from white women on this app is crazy. The amount of times that I have seen, like, you made me feel sad and therefore that's bad. Oh, that made me feel weird and therefore the law is that is bad. Like, it is so weird how they have decided that their emotion is law, and also just their desire, our desire to speak opinion on that you know nothing about. Like, why is your opinion about Beyonce's Grammy so big? Like, because it didn't affect you and therefore it doesn't affect anyone because your feelings are law? And like the halftime performance I've seen, it's so annoying. Like, what the f*** are you talking? I wouldn't have a single white friend.
So that one was, in a sense, specifically for the black women out there. Every now and again, I've technically slowly eased up on trying to send out, messages, because I understand that people feel a certain type of way. But this one was coming from a quote unquote Caucasian female ally, and the Caucasian woman there was specifically telling black women, like, hey, even she herself would not have, if she were a black woman, she would not have any Caucasian friends at all. And that says a lot. When you have somebody of, that side of the community telling you that she wouldn't even side, she wouldn't even be friends with, she wouldn't even talk to or associate with, because there's too many what ifs, too many incidences, too many actions that they can potentially take that are negative, that's telling you something. And again, this is also coming from the same demographic that also voted against black women, even though they specifically told black women, hey, we're your ally, girl power, hey, power to the feminists, and da 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 da, and all this other. And then, like I said, they played directly in people's faces. So again, this is going to be a memory for a lot of people for a lot of years. Hopefully people don't have a short-term memory, as if this is TikTok, and decide to just forget it in 15 seconds, or better yet, in 4 years. And people remember what happened, in this election. And when 2028 comes around, people will, pay attention and be like, all right, we don't got no allies. We need to, think this one through. We got to, move a little bit differently. Right. But let's continue.
Anywhere in the United States and smack you as a woman, and I'll go to jail. You can smack me as a woman, and nothing will happen to you.
You smacked me all the time, and you never went to jail.
Nah. You're a liberal communist. You're a communist and a liberal. you hate white men. You hate the U.S. Constitution. You're up. You believe everyone should be equal. That no one's greater than another person. That's communist. Here's your American flag.
I don't have one.
You don't have one. Because you're communist. Your whole thing in life is you're obsessed with babies. You're wrong. You're missing the maternity gene. You're missing the woman gene where you care for nurturing. You're not nurturing.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
Because it's probably because you're bleeding babies.
No, it's probably because you decided to knock up a drug addict deadbeat. That's probably why.
Well, you're supposed to have children. That's the whole point of women living.
I'm doing far better than you were at my age.
Actually, you're not.
You were on parole at my age.
Yeah, but my mind was free. Yours isn't. You're obsessed with murder. But you should not partake in anything to do with the 4th of July. You didn't earn it.
It's my birthday.
You don't represent it.
It's my birthday.
No, it's not. Your birthday is the 3rd, the Communist Day. Every time I see a psychiatrist, they end up falling in love with me. So they know that I'm great. But what are you talking about? Yeah, every time I'm going to a psychiatrist, I've had to stop going to them, because they end up developing a crush on me because they like the way my mind works. It's not funny. It's serious. I'll go in there and say, hey, I need to talk to someone. I got an issue. This is the issue. And when I explain life to them and what's happened and where I'm going, all that, they go, there's nothing wrong with you. You're a wonderful man.
You're such a great guy. Why have you never been married?
Because, first of all, I could literally break up with somebody one day, the very next day be in a relationship. It happens every time. Nothing wrong with me. Women like charisma. I have charisma. See, there you go. You're upset. You're upset because you're a communist. That triggers you. The American flag triggers you. The U.S. Constitution triggers you. The Bill of Rights triggers you. You hate this country. And you hate white men. I have 4 psychiatrists that told me I'm great. A judge awarded me custody because I'm a great guy.
Oh, a judge awarded you custody because my mom didn't want me and she couldn't pass a drug test.
So again, going off of the theme that this, my question for the individuals here, right? Because I know that more than likely there are some white men here, some trolls. Why is it that you speak to your daughters like this? That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? She specifically stated from her own mouth, she was like, "Hey, you sat up there and put hands directly on me. At the end of the day, you sat up there and put hands directly on me, and you never went to jail." He didn't have no response. He didn't have nothing to, directly say to that. He wanted to say that he was this great father. That's why he was awarded custody, when realistically he impregnated somebody that was a drug addict. And that drug addict was like, "Hey, I can't actually be a mother, so I'm going to, it's whatever. I can't even pass this test. So automatically by default, he's going to get custody." And it's like, this is the way that y'all literally talk to your daughters. And some people may say, "Well, Sergi, that's not indicative of all," but it's a lot. It's way too many. Because for the longest time possible in America, the main thing that they like to state about white men is that, hey, they're the greatest fathers. They're the greatest parents directly up here. And you see the way that he's talking directly to his daughter. Because he doesn't like that she's coming directly to him with facts, he's like, "Oh, you hate white men. You hate white men." Where did you get that from? If that was the case, she wouldn't even be talking to you. And you're her father. You're like, "Oh, you hate white men. You hate this country. You hate this. You hate that." And then the craziest part is when she was like, "Well, you decided to get, in a sense, like a bum, a drug addict of a woman pregnant." He was like, "Well, that's what women are supposed to do. You guys are supposed to, bear kids. You guys are supposed to have kids. You're missing that gene. Da da da. All that." I'm like, what? So you can't even admit that you messed up in your selection as a Caucasian man. You could have been everywhere, because he said, "Oh, I got charisma. I got charisma. Anytime I talk to a therapist, a female therapist, they automatically love me. They fall in love. They fall in love, fall in love." And you're still not married. And he's like, "Well, I could just sit up there and like break up and start a new relationship. It's nothing to me." Yeah, okay, sure. This is why the only main consistent woman that you've ever technically had in your life is actually your daughter. But even that is a sliding scale. Because again, y'all got the most disrespectful mouths directly out here. It's diabolical. Like, what is even happening? Like everything that he said is jacked. Everything is jacked. Because she is his daughter, aka a white woman, she decided to speak up for herself as being a full-fledged adult. It turns into, you hate this country. Doesn't that sound similar to whenever it is that black people want to speak up against the government and everything that's taking place, and then they decide that they want to turn around and be like, "Oh, you hate this country. You hate the Constitution. Matter of fact, y'all don't even know it. Y'all don't even know the history of this country. You guys aren't thankful for what it is that white people set up there and gave you guys. How it is that it's a blessing that we did what it is." It's the exact same rhetoric. It's the exact same rhetoric. It's crazy out here. It is 100% diabolical. But yet this is how you guys talk to your daughters. And then these are the same types of guys that other women directly out there say that these are the best ones. These are the greatest providers. These are the ones that will love a woman no matter what. These are the ones that will always stay by their family, make the best decisions, the best protectors. Huh? Where? Because he ain't doing nothing to protect his daughter right now. He's being verbally abusive, just being honest. He is shifting the argument any which way, no matter what she brings up. No matter how factual it is, this dude is sitting up there. He on skis. He is sliding. But yet, y'all want to run around and start talking about, Black American men ain't doing this and ain't doing that and everything with a baseball cap. It's some crazy work out here. And y'all the main ones that need to straighten up y'all houses, straighten up y'all families. Y'all the main ones that need to learn how to actually speak to the women in your communities and treat them better. But magically, somehow, some way, the focus and the lens is always on Black men. It's crazy how this works. It's crazy. But let's continue.
Up a 400-year head start. How did this happen? How is it that a nation of people, a race of people, held people of color by the collar while they allowed their people to get a 400-year head start? You sabotaged anything we could have done. We couldn't read, we couldn't write, we couldn't unify in any way, we couldn't congregate in any way. We weren't even considered human. See, this is why I'm so proud to be Black. I'm so proud to be a person of color, because we have the best story ever told. Regardless of what criticisms I've given my people, regardless of what critiques, regardless of what I've said.
Hold on, brief second. Somebody, because I'm rolling back up. Somebody said, "Why do you care so much about white people?" I'm just gonna be nice on this one. And again, shout out to Brother Allen for the $5 dono to the channel. Much love, respect, and appreciation. So Hakaru, the reason why this is even a part of the whole situation is because this is dealing with This Is America. Everybody is Americans, correct? So that would also encompass everybody who would be an American, correct? So it doesn't matter if it's somebody that's Indian, doesn't matter if it's an immigrant, doesn't matter if it's Black American, doesn't matter if it's true American, aka the Europeans, the pagans, Christians, and so on and so on and so on. So, that's why it's a part of the video, and that's why we have the title, just to get you up to speed. Let's continue.
About my people, I still view us as the greatest. And by us, I mean people of color. Don't you know who you are? These people move, learn, do nothing by yourself. Also, they can stay ahead of you. Do you understand what that means? That means that they know how powerful you all are. They know how powerful a Black woman is. They know how powerful a Black man is. Because if they didn't, guess what? They would have pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps and built America on their own instead of going and kidnapping slaves. Oh, wait, white man, I know what you about to say. Oh, but Black people weren't the only slaves. No, we weren't. But we were the only ones who've had our identity completely stripped from us. We are the only ones who have been completely separated and don't even know the origins of African Americans. Oh, but Africa sold you guys into slavery. No. The very few chiefs, kings that did that cooperated, were considered outcasts, alienated, were considered traitors well before that transaction even happened. And plus, it's kind of hard to deny a transaction when we ain't got nothing but bows and arrows and y'all showing up on ships with rifles, making offers that we literally cannot refuse. Let's not forget how America plays. Let's not forget how America presents you with an offer, but the offer is really rhetorical. It's really a trick question. Throughout all the trial and tribulation, throughout all the horrific acts done by you, we are still here. So I ask again, how did you fumble a 400-year head start? How did you fumble a point in time where you were trying to completely eradicate people of color and you couldn't do it? That's why I be so mad at my people. That's why I be so disappointed in my people. That's why I be on
Hold on, let me
y'all
just
the way
stop
I
this
be
for
on
a
y'all.
brief second. We had somebody, Keith Burns, said, that's not true. What America did was brutal, but many slaves were stripped of their heritage. So tell me how many of these slaves that existed in the United States were pretty much rebranded, probably close to 10 times. The Irish are still Irish. The Scots are still Scots. The Indians are still Indians. You Europeans are technically European, but you don't want to claim that because you came over here, stole and took the land, did whatever it is that you needed to do in order to claim the land and also claim the title as American, which you realistically are not. You are the first immigrants that touched the land, realistically. So pretty much everybody else has somewhat consistently had the exact same branding. Black Americans, if you do your studies and you look through, Black Americans are the only ones that have been rebranded countless times throughout history, but you want to say that everybody else lost something. The Irish still has, their vocals, their type of, language, whatever that is. The Scottish still has that. Even some of you Europeans, if you know where it is that you came from, like Russia or Germany, wherever, you still got a lot of yours. The Indians that are here, guess what? They still know of their language and their heritage. Hey, we believe in the moon god, the sun god, the bear god, the river god. They still got all of that. Black Americans were stripped out of everything, and yet somehow, some way, Black Americans still flourished. Literally stripped of everything. Stripped of everything. Jonathan was like, settlers are not immigrants. You're an immigrant. I don't know what to tell you. It's exactly what I said. Immigrant. Now, I could go to the other extent of just basically calling Europeans thieves, because realistically, if we're going to play semantics, I can just do that. Because realistically, Europeans are thieves. Right? Didn't they use smallpox in order to take the land here? Correct? Just saying. Just saying. You say your Slavic ancestors. That's a personal problem. That has nothing to do with me. You better take that up with the other individuals directly out there. Whatever God you believe in, you better take that up with them and those other folks out there that did that to your people. And yeah. But let's you said then your ancestors were slave dealers. The funny thing is, this Black American gentleman that the screen is directly on, he already stated that, but he also went to the furthest extent of stating that those chiefs that did that to the people that they sold from their tribes, those chiefs were alienated, right? They were taken directly out of their place because of what it is that they contributed to and what it is that they did, right? And then on top of that, we also had the fact that a lot of these nations now have directly come out and admitted fault. And they were like, hey, to the Black Americans out there, we are uniquely sorry for what it is that we contributed to, what it is that we did, how it is that you didn't receive protections, and how it is that we did not protect you, and how it is that we allowed this. So because of this way of us giving an apology is like, hey, you can come here and get, dual citizenship or free citizenship or whatnot, whatever. There's only a few rare ones that will actually do it. Few rare ones that will actually do it. Right? What else we got? Somebody said anything to be called a victim. Well, the funniest thing is I see a lot of European Americans at this moment in time, being victims because the government is pretty much stripping them of a lot of things. And you guys voted for this and you guys didn't want to listen. Didn't want to listen at all. Color me surprised. So, you guys are going to, get specifically what it is that you were asking for and looking for with this administration. On top of that, better yet, it's going to get even better because once or if that legislation passes where it states, and somebody who is Republican is trying to pass legislation to make sure that a president, aka Trump, is able to serve a third term, you guys are going to have to deal with this for a smooth 8 years. smooth 8 years. So good luck on that on not listening. No turning back the clock now. But let's continue.
Because these know who you are. These know how powerful you are. These know your potential. They just convinced you that your potential is low. They convinced you that you're a nobody. They convinced you that you are nothing and you are lesser than them. When if that was true, they would have built America on their own. They wouldn't have had to go and get them slaves. They wouldn't have had to deal with Africa at all. They wouldn't have had to take out loans from that same tyrannical place that they say they fled from. They wouldn't have had to create alliances with France. They wouldn't have had to use Christianity to start the slave trade if they were so great. How did y'all white folks mess up a 400-year head start? It's the same thing. Every 4 years, they blaming every issue in America on people of color, on immigrants. When
Hold up, another brief stop. Kyle, you said Africa still exists. I could go back at any time. Tell me where in Africa am I actually from and located? Because you guys always seem to know that Black Americans are just from Africa. Tell me where it is I'm from. Because the funniest thing is Elon Musk is directly from South Africa, but I know that he's European, right? But I know that I was born and raised here generationally with the rest of my family lineage here in the United States. So I'm a little bit confused. If anybody's to actually leave the United States and actually go somewhere, I would go for the pagans, the Christians, the Europeans, your people, your folk. Because you guys arrived. You guys tend to forget that. How it is that y'all came over here on boats. Because Europe, the UK, they had to cleanse their bloodline. They wanted to clean out their prisons and their jails, similar to what Venezuela did, right? When they cleared out their prisons and their jails and they sent people directly to the United States. That's what Europe did to y'all. Because they were like, hey, you guys are no good. We can't do anything with you guys. So go fall off the side of the planet and never come back. And you guys pretty much didn't come back. They gave you false titles. They allowed all of your criminal bloodline to be directly over here. And this is why we have the America that we have at this moment in time, which is one of the most violent nations, realistically, dealing with war, dealing with terror, dealing with chemical warfare. And mind you, I forget when I happen to list, right? It's one of the worst. I want you to just pay attention to the fact, because I don't want you to think that I'm just saying stuff just to say stuff, right? Because SEIJIHITO hates white people. No. Think about all of the outbreaks that have taken place when it deals with all of the foods, right? All of this listeria, salmonella, E. coli. Who's in control of those factories? Because I promise you, it's not somebody that looks like me. Better yet, I actually did a video about a year or two ago where I showed over information about 100 different factories around the United States, anything from almond, anything to chicken, turkey, anything dealing with pigs, cows, regular milk, eggs. Magically, you guys who are in control of these facilities, y'all were just having breakdowns. Like factories were just burning up, they were blowing up, they were getting hit by planes, they just had to close supernaturally. And this is you guys who are in control of all of this, because you guys like to sit up there and say that Black people can't manage anything. Look at the Democratic cities. Every Democratic run city is just a hole in the ground because you guys can't manage anything. You guys can't seem to run America. Oh, Jesse said, imagine blaming salmonella on white people. I didn't just say salmonella. I said listeria, E. coli, everything else. Matter of fact, I can sit up there and list the pandemic as well, too. But I know y'all don't want to touch that one. I know you don't want to go that far. Like I said, Fauci got y'all. Who got y'all? But y'all didn't want to sit up there and listen, though, right? You don't want to listen. It's crazy how that works. Who was that? Shout out to what was it? Moderna and Pfizer? Yeah. Shout out to those companies. Shout out to Moderna and Pfizer, because they really got the European Americans out here. They really got the white Americans out here. And like I said, y'all gonna figure it out. Jesse says, "Stop denying your racism." No, champ, sweetheart. I'm not racist. I can be prejudiced. And you're listening in live stream as I say this. I can be prejudiced, yes. Racist, no, because like I said before, I can't stop you from getting money. I can't stop your bank account. I can't make rules, laws, regulations. I can't sick some random police dogs on you to stop and frisk, to just randomly pull you over, to plant drugs directly on you. I can't, make laws to sit up there and just like segregate your towns and your cities. I can't just up and decide to steal your land and say that it's not yours and that the government's going to confiscate it. That's you. That's your people. That's what y'all do. You said racism is prejudice plus power. Are you talking to me or are you talking to the white Americans? Because I'm a little bit confused. Because when I think about the governments directly out here, like case in point, like look at how it is that it got everybody. But nobody wanted to listen to black Americans though, right? You had a lot of people out here that wanted to sheep up and they wanted to just do what they do. And nobody wanted to listen to anything else that was alternative. It's crazy work out here. It's diabolical. And the crazy part is, if anybody's trying to say that, black Americans are trying to be a victim, just wait until you want to try to file some lawsuits because of some things that will transpire. And you'll find out that, administrations basically stated that you can't sue. But I'm the bad guy. It's crazy work out here. It's crazy diabolical work. You even had Australia come out with studies. You had those in Europe come out with studies. You had Japan come out with studies. You had a variety of different areas around the world come out with studies. Y'all still refuse to listen. Matter of fact, weren't y'all the same ones that whenever election time comes up, it's like, what is it, like bird flu, Zika virus, Ebola, typhoid or something like it? It's always something around election time. Every single time. And we know that the CDC existing in the United States, who has a hold of that? Who controls that? Because I promise you it's not black Americans. Because y'all always want to pop up here and try to troll and this and that, but y'all never want to talk about who has actual control of a lot of these facilities in the United States that are capable of chemical warfare. And they've literally done this chemical warfare directly on you. Case in point, go back to East Palestine, Ohio, since a lot of y'all want to be smart directly out here. You want to say that black people want to be victims. Your own people got chemically bombed. How about that one? What you going to do about that? Why weren't y'all screaming and crying directly when that took place? You were able to see it live in 4K, and y'all still didn't bust a move. Y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all didn't try to open up no investigation. Y'all didn't do nothing. But you know what y'all will do? Like, black people are racist. You guys just hate white people just for no reason. After everything that we gave you, we freed you from Africa. If it wasn't for us, you would have just been in mud huts with spears and trees, chasing zebras. Right? Because that's your whole theory. Because you don't want to face the reality that you are the biggest failures when it deals with this planet. Every single time you touch something, it dies or it gets filled with disease. Case in point, go back to how it is that you guys, including the United States government, decided to infect black people with syphilis. And that wasn't that long ago, because I know a lot of you guys like to sit up there and say like, stop talking about the past. Stop talking about slavery. That was so long ago. You weren't even there. Tuskegee experiment. Anybody? And many other experiments directly out there. Right? Along with the medical experiments that you guys would also do on black women and children. And then let's look, because I know Tuskegee, that might have been a little bit long ago. That was before I was born. But of recent times, going to Africa, you can look up the Kenyan president who stated that they were backing directly out of WHO because they found that the medicines that were being delivered and given specifically to the women were making them sterile. Who do you think is in control of all of that medication? Who makes that? Who prescribes that? Because I promise you, it's not black Americans. And it's always hilarious when I hear of sterilization or a certain demographic who is heavily melanated that has a problem having kids. And I'm like, huh, that sounds very familiar because, correct me if I'm wrong, you also had Margaret Sanger, who is the mother of what, Planned Parenthood, who stated that she wanted black people to be exterminated and she called black people weeds. To my knowledge, Margaret Sanger was not Black American. So I wonder what demographic was she a part of that she wanted to get rid of. Dave X is trying to figure out stuff. He says, so are you from Kenya? Do I have to be from Kenya in order to speak on it? If I can listen to a representative or a president of that nation speak, why would I have to be from, near, or around that country in order to speak on it? Do you ask, Russian news? Are they from Africa or China? If they're speaking on said news, no, you don't. You just shut up and listen. You just shut up and listen. When Fox News is talking about news around the world, are you talking to all of those European, those white folks directly up there? Like, oh, I wonder if this white person is specifically, from China, since they're talking about, Wuhan. And I wonder if they're from Japan, since they're talking about Tokyo. And no, you're not doing that. You're shutting up and listening. You ain't trying to question the white folks out here. But when you have somebody that's Black American speaking, oh, now I got to sit up there and get questions. I need to find out what your sources are. Where are you getting your information from? I got to sit up there and double check your stuff, buddy. Double check yourself. If you ain't out here sitting up there checking white people and your own people, don't come up here checking me. You better check the family that abandoned you. You better check that drug addict OD of a mother directly up out there. You better check that drunk or abusive father. You better check that touchy-feely uncle or grandfather. Tim Bob or Jimmy Tim, whoever he is, you better check that backwoods family that you got before you come here. You better check whatever pagan god that you believe in. I don't care if it's Moloch or Baal, whoever it is. You better sit up there and check them. Don't come here. Do not come here. That is diabolical out here. Like, it's the craziest thing. Y'all always want to roll up here and try to think that y'all saying something about black people. Y'all can't say nothing. You guys are the same people that don't even use washcloths. You literally get proud all over social media telling people that, oh yeah, we don't properly bathe. We bathe once every 7 days. What? That's some crazy work out there. That's some crazy work. But then you got the nerve to sit up there and try to talk about Black Americans and how it is that we move, how it is that we dress, how it is that we style our hair, how it is that we smell. But you walking out here and the last time that you took a shower was when it rained. What we doing? What are we doing out here? Y'all sit up there and openly talk about in public how it is that y'all go to the restroom, and even if you do number 2, you don't wash your hands. What? And you sitting up here cooking people food? You're preparing people food? That's what we doing? And y'all wonder how it is that anytime we have pandemics, a lot of these things happen to spread. I wonder who's doing that. Because the CDC came out. Your news came out and sat up there and told you, hey, Americans need to wash their hands more often. They weren't talking to black people. I can tell you that. Like I said, shout out to Ty Floyd Mary. That was one of your people. And she was legally taking people out. Ty Floyd Mary was sitting up there preparing food. She was doing everything, going from house to house to house to house to house in your community, taking your people out, getting them sick. Guess y'all forgot about that history though, right? Just like with the smallpox, just like how y'all trying to rewrite slavery and sit up there and say that, oh, the Europeans and the Black Americans, they were, working together to make America great. Word? So we're going to just forego the brutality and all the other things that happened during slavery. we're going to just skip over all of that. We're just going to make it all nice and just put a bow on it. Wow. Anything to seem like a hero, right? Anything to seem like a hero. Matter of fact, the last video that I just saw happened to see when it dealt with Caucasian Americans was the fact of a woman that sat up there and said that she just finished up her 30th day of not taking a bath. And she even showed the bath water. It was black as all get out. It was blacker than some of the volcanic soil that I've seen in Hawaii. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. It's crazy work. Oh, Dave, I got to move on now because you said so. That's not how that works. Baby boy, that's not how that works. I move on when it is that I want to move on. And just for that, I'm not going to move on. I'm just going to stay directly on this same exact tune because obviously you don't like it. Because y'all the same group that don't know how to separate the living from the deceased, from the trash, from the waste. The exact same group that damn near took themselves out during the plague era, correct? Because that had nothing to do with Black Americans, right? I just want to make sure. Just want to make sure this had nothing to do with Black Americans. Out of all the stuff that y'all like to sit up there and blame on us, when it deals with your actual history, magically, you guys get real silent. You guys don't want to happen to look back and talk about that. Like I said, you guys are the originators of chemical warfare. I'm just going to be honest. Because you did it to yourselves again over there in Europe. This is why your population is not as high as a lot of other demographics when it deals with the world's numbers. This is why you guys aren't in the billions. Because you just keep doing one thing after another after another. You just don't learn. You just don't learn. Just saying. Just saying. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. You said, I bet you think that you deserve reparations. There's two ways to, in a sense, get reparations, but I'll put it to you like this, Davy boy. Why is it that the United States still gives money to a group of people when the United States did not have a hand in any of their people being extinguished, for lack of a better word? Being harmed, being maimed, being injured. And I ain't talking about Native Americans. I ain't talking about Africans. I'm not talking about Native Americans. There's only one group directly out there that the United States still pays money to. It's crazy how that works, though, but y'all don't like talking about that for some reason. Y'all really don't like talking about that. And it's funny that anytime that happens to get listed, y'all just overlook it. Right? So you got what? Reparations to Native Americans by way of land and money. Reparations to the, Jewish families directly out there, the Jewish community. Reparations to the Asian communities, because you guys actually at one point in time had concentration camps for both the Chinese and the Japanese here in the United States. And guess what? You guys set up there and paid them reparations. Right? And there's a few other groups I'm probably missing somewhere in there. There's actually quite a nice list. But the main people that are still here, still going through stuff, still to this day that never receive reparations, Black Americans. But whenever Black Americans talk about that they deserve reparations, you guys want to pipe up. But you don't pipe up when it's dealing with any other group directly out here getting money for whatever. It's crazy how that works. It's amazing. It's amazing. But you guys are also the same people that like to say that Black Americans don't contribute to anything. But a lot of the things that you use every single day has a Black American inventor attached directly to it. But yet you guys are the same ones that want to get rid of quote unquote critical race theory and Black History Month and Juneteenth and all this other type of stuff, because y'all want to cover it by sitting up there saying, oh, we don't see color. We're just going to consider all history to be American history. But again, that's not how, or the type of history that we learn in schools. You do selective history. You don't want to tell about the brutality. You want to tell about the murders and all of those evil deeds and contributions, negative contributions that you have contributed to when it deals with a variety of societies and nations and countries directly out here. You don't really want to talk about that. You'll talk about your conquest in a very nice way, but you're not going to go in depth. And I wonder why. That's right, because if the younger generation, your kids, were to find out who it is that they actually come from, who it is that you actually are, they would look at you crazy and they would flip on you in a second. And you know this. So you have to control the narrative. so that you can control this pre-made destiny that you basically set and made for yourself, which inevitably is going to end in destruction. Because guess what? You guys are the type where it's like, well, if we can't have power of the world, of the money, of the country, we're just going to destroy it all. And that's how you guys live. You would rather destroy everything versus allowing anybody to have a little piece of something, especially if they're Black Americans. It's crazy how that works. And the other crazy part is, if Black Americans were to just get what it is that they deserve, everybody else would flourish. And you know this. And you still don't want that to happen, even if that means that good things would also happen to you too. But nope, you still don't want that. So this is why you do your universal karmic, type of deal where you'll divvy out certain types of informations in movies and videos, because it's like, well, as long as you sit up there and tell them it is what it is. Shout out to Balenciaga, aka Ball, the main god that you guys used to, or still do, sacrifice, your kids to. And you put this directly in plain sight. As I stated before, as long as you tell people what it is, and if they willingly accept it, then that's directly on them. You can't say that you didn't tell them, but this is how y'all run companies. And this is also how you run the United States of America. This is why you have a lot of these underground cities where you like to traffic a lot of folk to and from, right? Because Black Americans didn't make those underground cities though, right? We're not digging out these large tunnels because we know that some type of destruction is going to happen on the top side. We're not trying to directly run from something that we're the direct causation of. That's you. This is why a lot of your people who are the billionaires and the millionaires and elites that run around this world, this is why they got these bomb bunkers. And I wonder why they have that. Why is it, Dave, that your people have all of these bomb bunkers and they're so uber prepared for magically this doomsday destruction, but yet you want to turn around and still be on social media and focus in on what it is that Black people are doing and how it is that Black people don't deserve this because this, that, and the third, and how it is that Black people such and such want to be victims and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all this other type of stuff. Oh, the Scots and the Irish, they were slaves too. It's crazy work. You literally have your own people of which you voted for that you placed in every single seat in this government around the United States, some of which have jobs for a lifetime. You don't want to challenge that. They're 87 years old. They're older than Moses, but yet you're still allowing them to sit up there and suck up hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of money on top of getting money from Big Pharma and all these corporations. But you don't got nothing to say, even though they're helping to take out your kids, your family, your neighborhoods. They're ODing a lot of you across the country. But you know what you want to focus on, though? You'll focus on Kendrick. You'll focus on Beyonce. You'll focus in on the Black community as if any of that stuff is actually affecting you readily at this moment in time. You literally have walking zombies in a lot of your Caucasian cities. I've watched and done stories on a lot of your kids ODing in college, at parties, at malls, behind the wheel. But yet you don't want to focus in on that, though, because you can't blame Black Americans for that. So you're just going to overlook it. Oh, it's just a one-off situation. It's just once in a few. But then I'll sit up there and watch as your people are crying in these town hall meetings in front of the mayors who don't care, in front of other officials who don't care, crying in front of the police who don't care, and trying to give an outcry to the president of the United States to really fix something, to really clean up the streets. But again, they don't care. But you want to make sure to sit up there and focus in on Black Americans and what it is that we're doing, because you can't take the blame. Because anytime you happen to suffer any type of failures because you can't face yourself, that brings you right back to us. Because that's all you know is failure. Didn't y'all have the Vietnam War battle, whatever you want to consider it? One of the main people that you wanted to jail, you wanted to quiet, you wanted to silence was Muhammad Ali, because he spoke out against the war. And he said that there was no reason for him to go fight the Vietnamese because the Vietnamese never did nothing to him and his people. And he was right. But a lot of y'all was like, oh, no, he's anti-American. Get him out of here. Deport him. Send him back to Africa. Imprison him. Shut him up. Strip him of his belt. And you did just that. And because you didn't listen to a Black man during that time, what happened, United States? Y'all got beat poorly, badly. It's an L that you don't even want to acknowledge because you know you were wrong. All of the Caucasians out there, your fathers, grandfathers, whatever your bloodline, all of y'all was wrong. And you're wrong every single time we just so happen to go into war. Matter of fact, when was the last time that the United States has ever been at peace? Because we're not at peace right now. We're always in some type of disagreement. We're always in some type of subtlety. Because correct me if I'm wrong, like the last time like Trump was in office, wasn't there like a missile that ended up hitting like a leader or a general somewhere in another nation over there in the quote unquote Middle East? And then everybody was like, oh my God, this is about to be World War III. Everybody was freaking out because they were like, yo, something's about to happen. Something's about to go down. And you know, the funny part is Black Americans are not the ones that are speaking any of this stuff directly into the universe. You guys are the only people on this planet that literally are shouting to the heavens, we want war. We want war. We want a skirmish. We want something to happen. We need something to happen. Y'all the same ones in the United States, like, oh, my grandpappy and my peepaw sat up there and told me that there's going to be a race war happening. So I'm prepared. I'm prepped up because I know these Negroes are going to sit up there and rise up one day. And y'all still waiting for that time and that moment so that y'all can try to relive some type of like glory days, like it's cowboy and Indians, when realistically you should be more worried about the United States government, which is more reflective of you, who has more control and say so over your body than you do. The same United States government that's sitting up there poisoning the air, the water, stripping you of your land. Matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago that I sat up there and put up a video of a white woman that was explaining how it is that she can't even build another home on the 60 acres of land that she has because the government said that it was already zoned for just one home. And when she went through there and tried to explain to him, like, hey, this is, you know, our land. It's completely fine. We don't have to deal with a floodplain or anything like that. We've already fixed a lot of those things. She said that the guy had no response to anything that she was saying. But like I said before, realistically, that's not my problem because more than likely that land actually possibly even originally belonged to Black Americans, more than likely. Because there was another video that I brought to you guys where a elder of your community specifically stated that, hey, Black Americans got their land stolen from the United States government. And in return, the United States government sat up there and gave that land to the white Americans, to the Europeans, and the other immigrants there. And they didn't really have to pay anything for it. They just had to stake out that land, and that was it. And that was the start of generational wealth in the United States. But yet you guys want to sit up here and act as though if Black Americans are asking for reparations, we're just trying to take and steal money that is undeserving. You guys are literally on stolen land, on top of stolen land. But y'all don't want to talk about the history. Y'all don't want to bring that up. But the moment in time that we do, magically, we're the bad guys. We're the criminals. When you guys are the biggest criminals here. Matter of fact, what's the deficit right now in the United States? Isn't it like 37 trillion? That's not Black Americans' fault. That's y'all. You can't blame any other country for that either. That's y'all. Black Americans have zero to do with the trillions of dollars. Matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago that I sat up there and gave you guys a video detailing the fact that the Pentagon couldn't even pass an audit. It was hundreds of millions of dollars that were missing. The government also had a plane with the lifetime of that plane was going to cost somewhere up to $1.7 trillion. And that $100 million plane that they had just built with all of those great armaments and all of that great tech, and magically disappeared off the radar. And it appeared somewhere down south and it was in shambles. They had to go there and pick up the parts. But guess what? You guys are still worried about Black Americans and what it is that we're doing. But you have no concern about government and how it is that they've been stealing your rights to bear arms, your freedom to speak. They're performing invasion of privacy. And I've talked about all of this before, but like I said before, you guys, you're too smart. So you don't want to sit up there and listen to what it is that a simple Black American has to sit up there and say, because you got to fact check, you got to go to Fox News and all these other types of places, when realistically, the United States government is very good, along with the CIA, in putting together propaganda because they don't actually have to give you real news. And it's been like that for decades, since before I was born. And I know some of you guys here listening to me are actually older than me. And you've witnessed and heard that this happened. But yet you still listen and watch the news, though, right? You don't actually do any type of further digging or any type of research. Matter of fact, you don't even go on government websites and look up the files that are declassified. You don't even do that. You'll still sit up there and listen to the government and abide by whatever it is that they just so happen to tell you. So, like I said, the moment in time, if at any moment in time, just like how it happened in Korea, the moment in time that we have martial law, I'm just going to say, I told you so. It's on you. This is your fault. 100%. The moment in time, if it happens that Trump is able to run a third time because of the legislation that they're trying to pass at this moment in time, because he did not serve 2 consecutive terms, and if he happens to run and he wins that, again, this is on you. Every and anything that happens to this country at this moment in time is on you, because you refuse to listen, because you're too bullheaded. You're too hard-headed. You think you know every single thing. Let's continue.
You're an immigrant. On Joe Biden, on Kamala Harris, on Barack Obama. They blame it on everybody except that created the system that we in. White people now are like, oh, woe is me. The country's going to, oh my God, the immigrants. Oh my God, we're going to lose this. Oh my God, the tyrannical government. Oh my God, what are we going to do? The America's going to, no, America's been shit. You just now finding out. You late to the party. Why did you not listen to people of color when we told you all of this back then? See, when it was beneficial to be white, you ignored all of us. But now that your privilege is virtually gone, dead, because the same system, the same government, the same media that you put in place has gotten greedy and now sees you, white man, as a target too. Yes, you have privilege, or at least you had it. And this is usually where they start whining, oh, what privilege do I have today? The 400-year head start that your ancestors gave you, that's a privilege. The fact that y'all were allowed to run full sprint as far as you can run, while everybody else was held in place trying to run, can't get nowhere because they are held by their collar, by your ancestors. How did y'all fumble a 400-year head start? God, I love being black. I love being a person of color. Because do you understand the level of failure that is? Every 4 years, this damn country's on the verge of collapse. Every 4 years, it's the same policies being presented. Every 4 years, it's the same promises broken. And guess what you all do? Still participate in this system. But when it go bad, hey, we need to change this. They're not going to change nothing. You know why? Because your vote is free. You don't demand nothing for your vote. You don't demand nothing for the dollar. You don't demand nothing for nothing. So why would they respect you? Why would they help you? Why would they rebuild America in the image it's supposed to be in when you're paying for corruption? Why would the devil change the devil's ways if you keep playing the same game that the devil likes to play? Here go the whites. It's Kamala Harris, it's Joe Biden, it's Barack Obama. No. It's America.
And that's facts. And the other thing that I keep trying to tell people, because, I happen to hear people go, oh, it's the left, it's the right, it's the right, it's the left. When at the end of the day, because people are so brainwashed, they can't actually see through the middle. They can't see through the whole disguise. The government is a part of the exact same coin. So it's like left to right, right, left, whatever you want to sit up there. It's the exact same thing. You're not voting any greater, any better, any worse. It's the exact same thing. They all have lobbyists. They're all getting money directly on the table, hand over fist. They're all robbing everybody in the United States. Social Security is pretty much gone at this moment in time. Retirement is about to sit up there and go up crazily. And you're going to have pretty much a permanent working class. And if you're in the middle class like I am, guess what? We're all going to be just considered poor versus the rich. And the craziest part is the moment in time that you white folks directly out there actually realize and see what is transpiring, what is actually going on for what it really is going to be too late. And everything in America and around the world is going to be reflective of a movie called Elysium. Well, all the rich and the elites are going to be in a citadel in the sky. Shout out to Elon Musk, right? They're going to be on Mars or in a citadel. They're going to be away from all of the poor, all of the quote unquote filth on the planet. And like I said before, it's because you led the way. You are the harbinger, the harbinger. You allowed this to sit up there and take place because you thought that you knew what was best. You wanted to go directly for yourself selfishly instead of thinking about everybody else, instead of listening to all the other voices out there, instead of even listening to the people that might have even had your best interest, white folks. You decided to vote against all of that because you felt that, hey, if I basically keep myself in power, this is what's going to level out the playing field. And nope, you're going to lose. You're going to lose so hard, and it's going to be hilarious. I just want a front row seat. That's it. That's it. I just want my popcorn. I want some nice food, and I just want to sit there and enjoy the festivities. What is going to take place and happen? Because I did see somebody earlier. They were like, "Well, I guess you could say that unless you're not from here." No, I am directly from here. Detroit, West Side, 313. Detroit versus everybody. But again, like I said before, sacrifices have to be made. You can clearly go directly on that altar and sacrifice yourself and see what it gets you. You saw what it got your kids. Shout out to Moloch. Shout out to Baal and whatever pagan deity that you like to worship. You see what that got you. If any type of power, it was horribly limited. And even with hindsight, you're still like, I'm still going to do it. Because you just don't learn. You don't pay attention. But let's continue.
About to humiliate myself on the internet, and I might regret posting this, but it's been a week and I can't stop crying. I went to dinner with my in-laws, and my partner went to the bathroom, and I was just sitting there, and they started talking about Trump and all the policies he's enacting, and the deportation and how he's gonna make this country amazing again. And I started to try to disassociate. I think they asked me questions. I just couldn't. I was just texting my partner, please come back. Please come back. And I just, as soon as I got home, my mom asked me, my face was all red and puffy. I come in and my mom asks me, Miha, what's wrong? And I tell her nothing's wrong. My mom has told me she's glad I look like my dad, because that means I don't have to be a part of this. I think a lot of people have told me in the past week that I'm blessed to look white, and that I can, and I know that I am, but it's so hard. Because people will say these terrible, horrible things about my family to my face, because they look at me and they don't see my family. They just, they see someone who can agree with those horrible, hateful things. I have many people in my life my mom has worked her whole life, so she's gotten so many people their citizenship. She's married to my dad, so she's never had to worry. But she has studied law books, and she's raised money. She's done everything she can to get all of her family here legally. But we have friends who aren't, and we've always had them, and they're so kind, and they changed my diapers, and they fed me and taught me how to cook. And because I look like this, people will come up to me and say, aren't you glad they're kicking him out? No, I'm terrified. I'm terrified. My friends, my family, they're all leaving. And I'm horrified because when ICE came to my city, I felt like I was having a panic attack and my world was destroying. And I told every person I know about it because I just didn't know what else to do. What else can I do? I don't have any say. And no one cared. Everyone was like, what? Question mark, what's this? What's going, why are you? Because it's not the same. They're not losing dozens of people are not disappearing, going to a place where they have no money, no home, no family, because they've lived their whole lives here. They've lived their whole lives here. And so to me, my world is falling apart and everyone's just disappearing and getting hurt, and there are children without parents now. And everyone doesn't understand. And they look at me like I'm crazy. Why am I crying? What's wrong with me? I'm white. And I know I'm white, and I'm so sorry that I can't help more. And I'm so sorry that all I do is cry. And I'm trying my best. I'm warning everyone I know, and I'm trying so hard to pray. I haven't prayed in years. I'm not a Christian, but I've been praying because I can't do anything else. And I just want you to understand that this is hard for everyone. And not the white people. No, it's not the same. They're not losing everyone right now, and I understand it's different. I can't be mad at some people who don't understand this, but I am mad. I'm so mad. I'm very mad, and I don't know what else to do now. But yeah, this is just very raw. I can't stop crying this whole week and having to pretend I'm fine in my conservative southern state. Please just, open your heart and realize that there are good people who are suffering right now. I don't care what you believe. Just believe that there's good people who are getting hurt now. So, I don't know what else to think. I know I'm gonna get a lot of comments, and it's gonna hurt, but I don't know. I'm just hurting already, so.
So this is going back to several videos and live streams that I've made over the month or month and a half, where I specifically was dedicating time and energy to the Hispanic community. And I was pointing out the fact that you have a lot of them who are white passing, as she is. That's wow, it actually paused right there. That looks, anyways, who are white passing, and as she said before, she's mixed, right? So she's Mexican and white, and her mother basically was telling her that you should be happy. You don't really have anything to worry about because you look white, right? Because you are who it is that you are, and this is why her significant other, which is more than likely white in that southern area, along with the other white folks there, were talking this and that directly around her because she is passing. And instead of her actually speaking up for her people, instead of her actually saying something, the first thing that she decided to do was go to social media and start crying. That's crazy. So you didn't really want to say anything to your partner. You didn't want to say anything to the family. You didn't want to say anything to the people there. You didn't even want to stand up for yourself or the people that you say that you're crying for, that you love oh so much. You just want to get on social media for attention, I guess, because this is not like a form of like protesting. This isn't going to bring any of those people that you say that you love, that you admire, that you respect, that you value so much. That's not going to bring any of those people back. That's not going to reverse the decision. Matter of fact, why is it that instead of just talking about the white folks there in that southern town or city that you're in, why not call out your own people who also voted for Donald J. Trump, who is currently the president of the United States of America? Why not? Why is it so difficult for people when they mess up to call out their own people? Right? Everybody always talks about black people like, oh, black people, you guys need to sit up there and start calling out your own community. You need to, start talking to them more and and all this other type of stuff. But when it comes to everybody else messing up, you see how it's silent. You see how nobody has anything to say. It's just like there's Sandra Bullock in Bird Box, girl, boy, boy, girl, boy. There's Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles. They don't see their mess ups. They don't see none of their mistakes. It's like, oh, let me just step over this, even though I know I'm visibly blind. Let me just step over this real quick. Oh, you black people, look at this. You guys need to fix this over here. But you just stepped over a giant mountain of you. Something that you created. You deviated, you dug a hole through, under, flew a plane to get all the way around. All of that you created just to go over to black people and tell them, oh, you guys need to fix your community. You guys need to sit up there and do it. Look at these Democratic run cities. Look at how it is that you treat your own people. Look at these murder rates, right? But y'all sit up there and mess up all the time, but y'all never had that same energy for yourselves. But again, it just so happens to bring you right back to us every time. And ain't nobody trying to listen to this crying. Ain't nobody really trying to sit up there and care because, like I said before, the time for crying was, whatever. It was action time some months ago, but y'all opted not to do it. What was your favorite song? I will vote for Donald, right? Y'all gonna vote for Donald Trump. That's what y'all said. Y'all had a whole song, y'all had a fiesta, y'all had a band out there, everything playing the drums, y'all were doing the merengue, whatever it is, the macarena, whatever it is, y'all were doing it all. Y'all even stopped the beat real quick and went a cappella saying that you would vote for Donald Trump. And now your feelings are hurt because you feel like you were lied to. You feel like a, banana in a tailpipe. You feel like it was a switcheroo. It's crazy work, but I'm just going to sit up here and say this again. This ain't Black Americans' fault. Just saying. This ain't Black America's fault. This is you guys. Like I said, you got two Caucasian or white demographics in the United States, and they both voted for Trump. They both voted. The other Caucasian demographics would be Asian and also the quote unquote Native Americans, the white Native Americans, the $5 Indians. But like I said before, when you got people from the Navajo tribe getting caught up in ICE, that should sit up there and tell people something. I guess people aren't as native as they said that they were. I guess. And then the funniest thing is somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because mistakes happen. But didn't somebody state that supposedly the United States government or Trump was going to, basically deport everybody else except for like South Africans? Because I do have a video of a South African who stated that he is illegally here in the United States and he was pleading with the current presidency, with the current office, with the current administration to not deport him, to let him stay because of all of these horrendous and bad things that are going on in South Africa. Crazy work how you can do that. But shout out to Elon because he's South African. So you're going to have some people out here that's going to get some preferential treatment. Now, this probably would have been the Indians if, what was it, Vivek, Ramesses, whatever that dude name is. Maybe if the Indians were in office, maybe some things could happen for them. But guess what? It's not because, they're too dark. Maybe if Vivek was a little bit lighter, like some of the other fair-skinned Indians and so on and so on and so on, maybe things would be a little bit different. Maybe he would have actually got, selected and he would actually, be there. He would be president, but, a little bit too dark there, buddy. A little bit too close to black. So like I said, shout out to Elon. He's supporting and looking out for his people in South Africa, both abroad and here, but not looking out for the rest of the Caucasian Americans here. Ain't that something? Who would have guessed? An immigrant, a European immigrant at that, wouldn't be looking out for white Americans here. Interesting. Crazy. That's diabolical work. But yet, y'all not going to call that out. You're not going to say nothing about that. You're again, somehow, some way, will twiddle your thumbs and you'll say, black people, it's your fault. Look at Chicago. Look at Chicago. Look at Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. Look at Detroit. Look at Detroit. It's always these look over here tactics versus facing the facts of looking at the whole country and how it is that you have ruined it, how it is that you're destroying it, how it is that you're stripping everything from it, even from your own people. And you're watching it happen, sitting there idly by. And you're just sitting up there waiting because you don't got nobody to attack, because we all know that you're not going to attack yourself. You're not going to attack your reflection. You're not going to attack your own image. So there has to be somebody, a black man there that you can basically dog whistle and attack so that you can throw all of that focus. But even then, it's still a miss because you have your super far right young men out here in their 20s stating that, hey, the elites and the rich tricked them into believing that black people, black Americans, were at fault for everything that's going on in this country. And it really wasn't them. It was actually the rich and the elites that are at fault for all of this. But yet, guess what? You still don't want to listen to even your youngest and quote unquote brightest, who are actually figuring out quicker than you. It's crazy work. Crazy work. But anyways, let's continue.
Ever about feeding the hungry, it was 100% to subsidize farmers. Yeah, I will never understand Republican farmers who are like, I'm voting to end these handouts. First of all, your farm takes a gajillion subsidies. As this young man, Skylar, is finding out, he's losing his $80,000 in subsidies from the government. But also, I used to work for WIC, and WIC is really is an agricultural subsidy. It started that way, that's for sure. You ever wonder why moms on WIC get far more milk than any family can possibly consume? I know when we were on it, I was making yogurt and cheese out of it because it's just vast quantities of milk. Yeah, it's because it's really a subsidy for dairy farmers. You ever wonder why the main things you get on WIC are formula, cow's milk, cheese, cereals, wheat, corn, soybean?
So we all heard that, right? And again, you'll have some people like, oh, this is so long ago. Why you guys are focused on the past? Because the past is still the present, and the present is going to be the future. Because people refuse to learn from history. People refuse to do their studies. People refuse to retain information that is actually important so that we don't fail just like we did in the past and in the present. But here we are. And guess what? White Americans are still getting taught. They didn't pull it up from their bootstraps. The land was stolen. The land was taken. Black people were supposed to receive 40 acres and a mule. We didn't get that. Everybody else got it. Anybody else that was a white or European immigrant, everybody else got their 40 acre and a mule, except for black people. We were told that we don't deserve it. We are undeserving. The United States, the government doesn't owe us anything, but yet they owe everybody else. But yet they can freely give to everybody else and help them out and give them handouts, give them subsidies. They can give them teaching classes on how to work the land. Again, you have people that were getting land that didn't even know how to farm it. And these are the exact same people that'll point over there to Africa and be like, oh, look at the Africans. You're trying to give them land back in South Africa. They don't even know what to do with it. Y'all didn't even know what to do in the United States. You didn't even know what to do in North America. It was the natives that had to originally teach you anything and everything about this land. Y'all didn't know nothing. But yet y'all want to come up here and always think that, oh, you were just God's gift. Shout out to the Mormons, because they're the main ones that like to say that black people are curses. Y'all like to sit up there and think that y'all God's gift, that y'all just these angelic angels that came here and y'all just modernized and blessed this whole planet. You just transformed everything for the better. Word? Really? How? You couldn't even modernize North America without help from the natives. How'd that work? You ain't know nothing about nothing. You literally just got here, crashed into a ditch. Yeah, that's it. That's literally what you did. But y'all want to stand up here every single time and act as though that y'all just like created everything. Y'all just had all the information. Y'all just did it straight from the grip, straight from the ground, off the top, off the dome. Y'all, word, thieves. Y'all stole everything. Stole everything. Like I said, the greatest invention that y'all have at this moment in time is the patent office, because that's the way that y'all can claim every single invention, especially if it was made by black Americans. And that's the other way that you can sit up there and hide information as well. Because if somebody black created something great, y'all can sit up there and quote unquote deny that patent. Somebody else or a company can run along and just do a little tweaks and measures. Bam, they got a brand new patent. And that black person just lost out. And y'all been doing this historically. But y'all want to sit up there and make it seem as though that, again, black Americans haven't contributed. Black Americans haven't done anything. Black Americans haven't, quote unquote, pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. And we have, but you burn down our towns and our cities. You turn them into forest. You turn them into lakes, turn them into rivers, turn them into ponds, turn them into grave sites. Matter of fact, the grave sites that we did have, you dug those up, or you just completely flattened them and put asphalt or concrete, and you just built whatever. So we have a lot of history in the United States of America, which is unaccounted for at this moment in time because you guys refuse to admit any type of fault. And you guys just want to keep moving along into the future so that y'all can continuously say that, oh, it's the past, it's the past, it's the past. And even when it was time to actually give some correction to things that happened in the past during that time, you guys were like, well, we don't feel like doing it. So that's it. It's crazy work. Like I said, this is why we still got black American veterans who are just now getting their awards, just now getting their medals. because this is the type of people that y'all are and that y'all always been. You don't want to acknowledge greatness. You only want to acknowledge yours or anything that you can steal or say that you contributed to. So that's the reason that this person is so great. If it's anything having to do without you, you're not going to acknowledge it because you're selfish and greedy for attention. You want everything that's yours and everything that's not yours. It's crazy work. Let's continue. Oh, let me redo that. Let's continue.
Are not black and shouldn't be celebrated during Black History Month. Now that I got your attention, I'm going to explain why this is incorrect. So to sum it up, I am in this group chat with some high school friends, you could say, and long story short, I guess they weren't happy about the Black History Month assembly, and they voiced their opinion. I guess they didn't like the fact that this dance group called Creative Movement went up on stage and they were shaking their behinds or whatever to Afro beats and dance hall, and she said that actually has nothing to do with Black History Month, which is a celebration of black culture, and black as in... Since I am from a Caribbean descent, I said that she sounded ignorant, and I proceeded to tell her that African and West Indian culture is very important to black history. Yes, Caribbean and black culture are two different things, but at the end of the day, we're still the same thing and we're black. Both went through oppression, both went through discrimination, both went through slavery. Like, let's talk about it. Then she proceeds to say, Tiana, you're quite literally Caribbean American, not African American. Last time I checked, when I go to apply for a job or fill out any papers, I check off Black African American. Then this person also continues to say that Caribbean American History Month is in June and that we have a whole month to ourselves and to stop colonizing their month. Black History Month is not only to celebrate African Americans, but it's to celebrate all black people and their achievements that helped contribute to black history. Now, I'm not the smartest person, but I know enough about my history to educate others. And it says here that black Jamaicans have made a significant contribution to black history. Let me know if y'all want a part 2.
Bless the hearts of the younger generation. Okay, so this is the problem that I have. And we'll just do it like this, right? So if you happen to type in Caribbean American Heritage Month is celebrated every June in the United States. It's a time to recognize the contributions of Caribbean immigrants and their descendants to the country. How it started. In 2004, an advocacy campaign was launched to establish a federal Caribbean American Heritage Month. In 2006, President George W. Bush issued a proclamation to establish the month. Number 3, the proclamation is renewed annually by the White House officials. How it's celebrated. Caribbean Americans celebrate their heritage through festivals, parades, dancing, and sharing traditional meals. The month-long observance promotes the rich culture and heritage of the Caribbean American people, who it honors. Caribbean Americans have excelled as scholars, teachers, preachers, doctors, inventors, poets, and politicians. Notably, Caribbean Americans include Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman in Congress. What it celebrates. The month honors the achievements and contributions of Caribbean immigrants and their descendants in government, sports, entertainment, and the arts. So again, they already have a month, which is in June. So to me, if something is specifically, and this is the shortest month that we have directly out of the year, February, right? And originally Black History was what, about like a week? I forgot, it's been so long since I've actually, I did that video some years ago. I think it was about like a week originally that we had Black History Month, even a little bit shorter. And then as time went by, certain things were able to take place where we inevitably were able to get a month, right? And I'm like, this is for literally Black Americans. This is something that we fought for. This is something that, you know, people had to, you know, try to argue, you know, knock on doors, do all of these things. Right. And then other people have their other months. And it's crazy to me how it is that you have people that's like, no, we got 2 months. It's like, nah, coach. Black people don't have 2 months. And I'm saying, like, originally for me, Black history is 365 days of the year. Right. But what I'm saying is, it's crazy for her knowing the fact that she's Caribbean, but she stated directly to you that even though she knows who it is that she still states that she's African American, Black American, whatnot, or whatever, even though she knows that she's Caribbean. And I've had conversations with people who are Caribbean, and they'll sit up there and say that they're not Black American. They'll sit up and say that they're not African American. Right? Just like conversations with Africans directly, they'll sit up there and say that they're different from the Black Americans here because the Africans have their culture, their heritage, their language, their religion, their traditions, their foods, their garments, all of this history, right? So everybody else that is melanated will sit up there and tell Black Americans, hey, we are not you. We are not of you. We are different. So it's amazing to me to sit up there and see somebody Caribbean sit up there and try to tell me as a Black American that they have 2 months. So Black Americans got 1 month and they got 2 months. How'd that work? The math is not mathing on that. The math is not mathing on that. Like I said, that's crazy to me. That's some diabolical work. That is some diabolical work. How people decide to be so brave and get online and say that no, this is our day too. Says who? George W. Bush, a Republican, literally gave you your month. So what are we talking about here? And it's renewed annually. But instead of basically waiting your turn on the wheel throughout all of these months, you want to be like, I know Black history is ours too. Like I said, Black Americans, we can't have nothing. We can't have nothing. Somehow, some way, everybody is trying to, as Diddy would say, scraping and scrambling, trying to take whatever or what little bit that we got and trying to claim it as theirs. That's crazy. That is crazy. You said you have Black Americans who say that they are not African American, and that is completely fine and dandy because you have a lot of people that are able to trace their lineage back. Case in point, we got Officer Haku, aka Brandon V. World, who has traced his lineage back. I'm talking about to like what 18 or the 1700s. So he and his family would have every single right to sit up and say that they are not African American. Because that would, in a sense, basically mean that you have somebody from Africa coming to America, right? Basically, to put it, what was the guy's name up here for Jay Smart? I put it to you to a better extent. For all intents and purposes, Elon Musk is African American because he is from Africa, right? Because he's South African. And he's coming directly to America, correct? That makes him African American. Do you see how that works? So you would then, with that example, understand why it is that you have a lot of Black Americans stating that they're not African American, that they're stating different things like adios, FBA, indigenous, whatever else. Because we're, in a sense, tired of getting grouped in forcefully by other people. When it is that historically Black Americans have tried to group themselves up and team up with everybody else, and everybody was like, hey, me no black, me no black. Oh, I'm not black. I'm not Black American. I'm not like you lot over here, and yada yada yada, all this other type of stuff, coming up with all of these slurs and words for Black Americans, but yet Black Americans don't got no words or slurs for everybody else around the world. And everybody want to sit up there and say that they're the most hated when realistically it's Black Americans. Again, Black Americans don't have slurs and words for everybody else. We don't. We do not. Like I said, there's not a day that goes by that I don't see like some random video from like some UK Africans that want to make fun of Black Americans while being dressed up as Black Americans, full on attire, everything. Like I said, if Black Americans are realistically so bad and we don't have no culture, everybody else that's melanated around the world that don't want to be associated with Black Americans, don't want to claim us, y'all need to dress in your actual garb. Dress how it is of where it is that you came from. But oh, you can't, because what's European clothing? what is that? Wigs? Like and what else? But I can't even give you anything. I don't even know what European cultural wear would even look like. I know what some African cultural wear would sit up and look like, and some of that look dope. But yet, like I said before, when you see a lot of Africans, when they come over to America, who they dressing like? They're dressing like Black Americans. Who they talking like? They talking like Black Americans. Who they walking like? Black Americans. Who they rapping and singing like? Black Americans. They're not sitting up there rapping, dancing, and singing in their actual normal accent and voice. Like I said, it's a lot of masquerading and hiding so that people can't, spot who people really are. It's amazing to me. But yeah, people want to say that, we don't got no culture. We don't got this. We don't got that. It's crazy. Some crazy, crazy work. Crazy work. You said, do you believe that whites have the same rights to celebrate their culture? Some black people feel that white people are not allowed to be proud to be white. That's actually quite stupid to ask. Look at America. That's a celebration of white culture. America is a celebration of white culture. The United States government is a celebration of white culture. Chemical warfare and bombs and guns is a celebration of white culture. Being able to freely exterminate any and everything that you see and come into contact with is a celebration of white culture. Being able to freely enslave people and not have to face any repercussions or responsibility for your actions is a celebration of white culture. What are we talking about here? The main culture that I sat up there and learned about through middle school, high school, and a little bit of college that I did do was white culture, white history. What are we talking about here? Talking about white people aren't allowed to be proud about being white. Y'all proud about being white every single day. What are we talking about? Every time you turn on the news, you see a news anchor or newscaster that look just like you. Some of the millionaires and the billionaires directly out here are reflective of you. The people in the government are reflective of you. The people in the police and the military are reflective of you. You got people over there in China bleaching their skin to be reflective of you. You got Hispanics directly out here trying to be reflective of you. You got Africans out here trying to bleach their skin. Caribbeans out here trying to bleach their skin, trying to be reflective of you. And you're trying to sit up there and tell me that white people aren't able to celebrate their culture? It's everywhere, all around the world. It's some y'all be saying some crazy stuff directly out here in this comment section. Let me tell you, it's crazy. You said that Elon Musk is European, who is conceived in South Africa. Also, I'm saying is the cultural division. You do know that a lot of people consider Kamala Harris to be Indian, correct? They considered her, even her own people who interviewed her, and I made sure to show this on my channel multiple times. One of her own people who are Indian came to her and said, how does it feel to be the first Indian representative? The first Indian this, the first Indian that. And then all of a sudden, she became black. How'd that work? But you're trying to tell me that, okay, Elon was conceived in South Africa. Well, the videos that I have of Europeans in South Africa, they'll tell you that they're indigenous to that land. They'll tell you that they own that land. They tell that that land is their birthright. So what are we talking about here? Europeans here in the United States will sit up there and tell you that they own America. The United States government will sit up there and tell you who are white. They'll sit up there and tell you that this is their land. This is their birthright. When really that they are the actual original immigrants. Because when you look at the definition of America, it talks about the copper color aboriginals that were first here. And that is not reflective of anybody European. But yet, guess what? They took over the land and they took over the branding as American. And then secondly, they wanted to sit up there and take over the branding as native. And they did that. All three. Crazy work. Crazy work. See what else we got here. Just trying to stroll through real quick. Also, shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation to all 224 people that are here at this moment in time. Let me see. Go do your research. So you don't think any white person can be proud? Did you not hear what I said? I said everywhere you look in the United States is a celebration of white history, of white heritage. So what are you talking about? Like the funniest thing is, I don't understand why people come to black people and ask them like, oh, since it's okay for you to sit up there and say you're proud to be black, is it okay for white people? How would you feel if white people sat up there? Y'all been doing this. We don't care. I don't know why you're trying to get some type of validation like from us as if it mattered. You didn't need validation to take us from wherever, or to strip us of everything that we have in order to mold us into something different. You didn't have to sit up there and ask for permission to sit up there and do that. So I'm not sure why you're coming here doing this exact same thing. Y'all never cared for permission. You just took whatever it is that you wanted, especially when it dealt with slaves that you consider to be property or not human, lower than a dog. Right? Isn't that how you started having mulattoes and biracials? Because the forefathers were having the black female slaves on, you know, the house on the land, and they were coming through even though they had a wife directly in that white house with a white fence and their white kids. They were going over there at night to sit up there and see that black female slave doing a variety of things and also creating kids. So whenever you sit up there and see a large picture of all of these kids, some of them look mulatto, some of them look dark as ever, that's because that's the slave master's kids. That's them forefathers. Those early on presidents that own slaves. But like I said, you're not going to sit up there and show me black Americans doing that to white folks out here historically. You're not going to show me that though. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Like I said, when we deal with actually talking about history, y'all don't want to talk about all of the horrible and horrendous things that y'all actually did. How it is that you force yourself on a variety of people. Y'all don't want to speak on that. Y'all stay quiet. Stay quiet. Crazy work. Crazy work. You say you're lost in the sauce, brother. A rich white person isn't a celebration of white culture. It's just a rich white dude. You see, this comprehension is slow for a lot of folks directly out here. When I said armaments, when I said weapons, when I said the United States government, when I said the representation of white folks all over the media, social media, who has the control, who can make the laws, rules, and the that's all y'all. What are you talking about? I done seen some of the poorest whites have a little bit of power and feel like they are just better than any black person directly out here. I'm talking about the white folks in small towns down south. Even though they barely got a pot to piss in, they still think that they're better than some black folk out there because they got a little bit of a title and a badge. They got a little bit of power, a little bit of weight to throw around. Like I said, y'all can act ditzy if y'all want to. Shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation to whoever just subscribed to the channel. I couldn't even catch it in time. Much love. Much love. The Boers, they are colonizers, foreign, a multi-race that not even their Dutch ancestors want to connect with. Yeah, that's true. You said, what do I want to be different? What do you mean? And you said, what rights do I have that you don't? Let's see. Number one, if I'm going to, you know, just go back just a little bit. Let's just go back and look at the fact of all of the many wars that you guys have created and how it is that you're not on trial for any of the innocent people that you took the lives of. Like, I've literally watched videos of those in the army, soldiers in the army, using all of these $100,000 million planes with these $100,000 armaments and bullets, taking out schools. They're literally laughing as they're taking out these schools and the kids running, laughing. Those are American pilots. Those are American soldiers. And there's many other horrendous acts and videos and pictures directly out there. And do you know who those people are? They're not black. So if we're going to sit up there and talk about what rights do you have that I don't have, if I were to have done anything like that and been filmed or had a picture of it or even a word was uttered, guess what? I would be in prison somewhere. I would be on trial in 2 different countries, and I will be held accountable for everything that I sat up there and did, while you are not. Like I said, what was the war on terror again? Shout out to George W. Bush, because like I said, he got y'all. He made you sacrifice everything, your families, your kids, your rights to privacy, your information. You threw all of that away for the Patriot Act. And the government still snaked you. You sat up there and threw away your lives, you threw away the lives of your kids and your families, all to a senseless war that sitting president at the time made a joke about. Weapons of mass destruction that I knew even in high school that didn't exist. But he was sitting there laughing at his final dinner, like, I know those weapons of mass destruction are somewhere. Again, y'all don't have to take accountability for nothing. You can literally laugh at every single destructive thing that you've ever done. Everybody can acknowledge it. Everybody can see it. They can photograph it and videotape it. And even with all that proof and evidence, you're not standing trial. You're immune. So we can start there. But like I said, whenever I bring this stuff up, y'all don't really care. Don't really care. Just saying. Just saying. What else we got up here? You said, I asked you a personal opinion and you told me you don't speak for every black person alive. Well, I'll put it to you like this. I will say in part that I would speak on the behalf of the intelligent black people out there that understand and see the United States for exactly what it is and what it has done and what it will do directly in the future. So you are right. I don't speak for every single black person because a lot of black people could actually care less. Just like a lot of white people don't actually care what the United States government is currently doing to them at this moment in time. See how that works? But yeah, all of y'all voted. Though, right? I can pretty much guarantee that a lot of white folks out there, especially in the Appalachia, areas and the small towns, the Dust Bowl areas, the towns that barely even exist, that look like ghost towns that got less than 500, I'm pretty sure they sat up there and voted for Trump. And now they got to deal with those consequences, which they're sorely finding out at this moment in time. Even Trump stated himself that a lot of people are going to have to go through a little bit of hurt and a little bit of pain, but it'll be worth it. That's what your president sat up there and said towards your people. But like I said, nobody wants to talk about that. I thought I went over this before. You said, I'm Irish. My family was slaves too. You were indentured. There's a clear-cut difference. Go ahead and look up the slavery that black folks went to and compare and contrast to the indentured servitude that your folks basically went through. It is not the same. And then on top of that, even after that, what it is that black folks had to sit up there and go through that your people didn't have to go through. Matter of fact, even after that, still to this day, what black folks got to go through. So, there's realistically no comparison. You can't. Because it's amazing to me that when black people want to start talking about slavery and all of the history inaccuracies or the inaccuracies, how stuff is claimed and, whatnot or whatever, nobody wanted to care and everybody told black people to shut up. But then once black people got some type of movement with it, everybody else wanted to be like, oh, but the Irish, we were slaves too. The Scots, we were slaves too, and so on and so on and so on. It's amazing. Everybody now wants to sit up there and talk about they got a slave history and past. But originally, before black Americans, y'all wasn't saying nothing about it because it was looked down upon. It was frowned upon. It wasn't nothing in a sense to be, proud of or to try to, find something positive from. But once black Americans actually did it, now y'all want to pipe up and y'all want to speak. That's some crazy work. That's some crazy work. Crazy work. You said, let's be real. You never dealt with any of the slavery. I'm sorry. I tried to hear you, but you're being an extremist about the past. Can't move forward if you can't let go. Bye and good luck. It don't matter. You can see yourself, directly out. The funniest thing is I love when you guys do that because y'all want to make a statement and then you want to quote unquote have the last word as if you even had any type of word here. That's the most craziest thing. Because y'all really, in whatever small part of your mind, you really feel like your opinion on what it is that black people are talking about is that much more important. And this is reflective of how you guys have always been historically, no matter where you touch ground around the world. You feel like since you're there, you are the utmost importance. Every word that you say has to be just important. It's gold letters, as if God himself just opened up the clouds and just started writing in light in the clouds with a pen. That's some crazy work. That's some crazy work. But magically, I'm an extremist though, because I want to talk about the historical accuracies, and I want to mention the discrepancies, and I want to show that realistically, whatever y'all want to sit up there and bring up, there is no comparison. But even though y'all tell me to stop, the past is the past, then why are people who are Irish, who are Scottish, talking about they were slaves? Isn't that the past? Matter of fact, I'll put it to you like this: 9/11, ain't that the past? But yet y'all keep bringing it up every single year. Pearl Harbor, ain't that the past? But y'all keep bringing it up every single year. World War I and II, that was the past too, but y'all keep bringing it up every single year, right? July 4th, what are you guys celebrating? Isn't that the past? But y'all keep bringing it up too, right? It's amazing. No matter how far you guys go, you can always bring up the past, celebrate it, talk about it, whatnot, or whatever, without anybody uttering a word. But if it's black people talking about it for some odd reason, it really grinds your gears. It really grinds your gears. It's crazy. You said, I'll talk about anything. Every race had slaves. We're not talking about every race. We're talking about here in the United States of good old America. And we're talking about what the United States government did and what they allowed and still allowed to this day. And how black people are still not seen as human beings. It's crazy. Diabolical work. The craziest part is a lot of you Europeans weren't even fully accepted in America up until later, because some of you guys originally were a little bit too dark. But then over time, they were like, you guys are one of us. That's the exact same thing that they did with the Hispanics. That's the exact same thing that they did with the Asians. And then all of you guys are sitting up on your soapbox trying to tell black Americans, we did everything by ourselves. We pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps. We didn't have any help. We didn't have any assistance. We didn't have any handouts. There's a lot of contradictions, because when other people, elders of you guys' communities, actually speak and they're telling the truth, magically you guys don't see it, y'all don't hear it, and y'all don't want to say nothing about it. Mike Hunt said, get over it already. Get over 9/11. Or is it too soon? Is it too soon? Even though the United States government did it, is it too soon? The war on terror, get over it. Is it too soon? How about, all of the money, that you guys ended up losing before 9/11 at what, $2 trillion? Get over it. Why are you still trying to find it? Why are you still looking for it? Why are you still trying to do audit? Isn't that in the past? Like I said, the only time that y'all want stuff to people to get over it and you want stuff to stay in the past is when it's negative and it deals with your history. Now, if I was sitting up there begging you up and I was putting you on a pedestal, you wouldn't sit up there and say nothing about leaving it in the past. You would sit up there and say, I would sit up there and buy buddy right here a beer. You're a friend indeed. This is the type of American that I like. But because, you guys want to say that I'm anti-American. You guys want to say that, I'm racist. You want to say that I'm a radical. I'm an extremist. It's a problem. It's crazy how that works. Diabolical work. Diabolical. Crazy. Crazy work. Mike Hunt said, that's them. They aren't considered white. They're European, though. So what are Europeans? Aren't Europeans Caucasian? Because you're not African, you're not Chinese, you're not Black American, you're not Hawaiian. Europeans are Caucasian. Caucasians come from where? The Caucasus Mountains. So yeah. Now, if you want to talk about the originals, yeah, that started down there in Africa. If you want to You know, because if we're going out of the, you know, the whole thing of like everything was born and came directly out of Africa, that would be Judaism, and that would come also with the Christian religion. All of those religions basically came directly from one place. But again, you know, people aren't going to go that far, because it's crazy to me how Africans can have the most complete Bible on the planet, but Europeans don't. Somebody got to explain that one to me. That's a little bit weird, because I could have sworn that everybody stated that what Africans were just in huts. They didn't know how to read or write. The Europeans came through and civilized them. They educated them. They gave them mathematics. They taught them astrology, science, agriculture, all of this stuff that y'all always like to claim. Even though some of your greatest from Europe came down from Europe and went to Africa in order to learn their great knowledge. And then once they learned that from those free schools there, they went back up to Europe to become the greatest ever seen. It's crazy how that works. Crazy how that works. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Crazy work. Let me see what we got. Let me shout out to all 187 people that are currently here at this moment in time. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Much love, much love. Let me see what else we got. He said, why are you so proud to be such victims? Does it feel good for people to feel? Is that supposed to be bad for you, buddy? Why is it? Well, let me reply it, right? Why are you proud to be such warmongers? Why are you proud to be such killers, such great deceivers, such great thieves? Does it feel good? I bet it does. Because remember, it was your group. It was, as the UK would say, it's your lot that came through to these other nations, to these other countries, and you wanted to claim way and claim land. And you did that a multitude of ways, either by bullets, either by force, or either by chemical warfare. But then when everybody is now educating themselves and finding out the true history in the past, you guys are like, oh no, that was so long ago, that doesn't even matter. Look at what we have right now. No. But look at what cost. You didn't sacrifice yourselves to get here. You sacrificed everybody else. And then once you were done sacrificing everybody else, belittling them, browbeating them, stripping them of everything, then you wanted to try to sit up there and give a little bit of, oh, we're all equal now, when we've never been equal at all. I've never heard a predator say that they're equal to a victim. But yet you, Mike Hunt, that's what you're stating. You're stating to Black Americans as the predator that you are equal to us. When has that ever been a thing? I've never heard a robber say that he is equal to the person that he robbed. The reason that the robber is because he sees himself higher. He sees himself more righteous than the person that he is going to sit up there and steal from. But here you are, directly in my comment section, as the predator that you are, saying that you're equal to the victims. How does that work? America's never said that. Where's that written? Let me know. Let me know, where is that at? And the craziest thing, John said, bro is so bitter. What do you mean, you guys? John, let me clear this up for a lot of the other, white folks directly down here. Let me just make this very clear cut and simple. The exact same way that Black people, Black Americans, were put into captivity, you yourselves will be put into that exact same captivity, if not worse. And the funniest thing is, you guys are walking directly into it. Even though Black Americans have some of the far most experience with this more than anybody else, we have far more experience of both actual captivity and mental slavery. You guys still don't want to pay attention to your own people who are throwing you directly to the wolves, who are sacrificing you, lambs for the slaughter at this moment in time, sacrificing your kids, your families, and everything. And even as you guys still come through here and run your mouths and still say all the things that you say, I still deliver this exact same message that you guys right now are slaves and you don't even want to listen. You're not even trying to hear the core message because you think you know what's right. You think you know what's happening. You think that you're in full control and you've been deceived by the very deceivers of which you were born from. And they got you. They literally got you. And you still don't see it. And you still want to go back and forth. You still want to ask me questions. You still want to argue. And you don't even, it doesn't even register that you're slaves right now. You got your papers, your walking papers at this moment in time. It doesn't register to you that the corporation that is the United States has full ownership of you and your body and also your kids. This is the main reason why it is that the government, the police, or CPS can come directly into your house and take your kids because you have no rights. And it's crazy that I, as a Black American, I, as a Black man, no matter all of the history that I know and am still going through at this moment in time, I'm still trying to inform you of what is going on. And you're still being stupid, deaf, and dumb. And y'all wonder why it is that Black Americans don't like talking. You wonder why it is that we're trying to slowly separate ourselves from everybody else. That's because y'all don't listen. Y'all don't pay attention. Y'all don't want to hear nobody else out. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. But like I said, y'all gonna learn. Because pretty soon what's going to sit up and happen is that you're not going to have anybody else to blame but yourselves because everybody else is going to be out the picture. The only way that America is going to fall is from the inside. And it's not going to be because of Black Americans. It's going to be because of you. That is the real fact of the matter. You always state that this war, the Civil War, is going to sit up there and happen. Yeah, it's going to be all of y'all versus the very same government that you enlisted. And you know who the government is going to sit up there and call in to start cleaning you guys out like the purge? They're going to call in the armed forces. They're going to call in all of the people like, oh, I stand with the blue. I stand with the army. I stand with the Navy. They're going to call all of them in to sit up there and clean all of y'all out and to take your weapons. And then what you're going to do? Who are you going to have to sit up there and blame them? What you going to do? Turn around and blame Black people? Nope. You're going to have to sit up there and take that. You're going to have to sit up there and look at all of the bodies on the floor. Of your families, your little dog, your horses, whatever it is that you care about is going to be right there in front of you. You're going to only have yourself to sit up there and blame because you did not want to listen. But yet y'all want to walk up here and try to say that I'm bitter. Nope. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Because y'all don't want to listen. Y'all don't want to pay attention. But again, y'all going to sit up there and learn. And you're going to learn by having to sit up there and put up all of those crosses, to have to go to all of those funerals that you're going to sit up there and have to plan. Just like how it is that some of you guys that are going through cancer, I'm talking about the white folks, some of you guys that are going through cancer, y'all can't get proper medical benefits. The insurance won't even sit up there and properly cover it. But yet y'all won't focus on that. Y'all won't really sit up there and fight the insurance companies. And these are the exact same insurance companies who did what in California? They canceled people's insurance policies because they knew that the fire allegedly was going to take place and happen. And they made sure that you weren't going to have any money to claim. They made sure that you were going to be left destitute and homeless. But yet, guess what you guys are doing right now? You want to come here and you want to focus on a Black American talking. You want to try to say that I'm bitter and all of this other type of stuff to get away from what it is and how it is that you're actually affecting yourself, your own people, how your actions or your inactions are leading to your very own demise in the quote unquote great country of which that you created and founded. And yet here we are. Here we are. It's crazy work, mind you. Very crazy work. Mike said Africa didn't know that the wheel was invented until 1986. And a lot of your greatest from Europe didn't even know that other continents were directly up there. Didn't they say that Columbus, who also, shout out to Kendrick, Columbus like miners. So wasn't he looking for India? And then he happened upon North America? How stupid do you have to be? How stupid do you have to be given a boat in all of these men, and you're supposed to look for one thing, and then you end up somewhere else? Just saying. Just saying. And you know the funny thing, like I told somebody else previously, in Africa, you got the Dogon tribe who knew about the stars and everything before Europeans, before white folks, before y'all even had an understanding of what that was or could even acknowledge it. You had those African tribes out there that actually knew all about it. Explain that to me, Mike Hunt. How is that possible? Europeans are the ones that's supposed to have educated all of Africa, all of the people there. So how would such a primitive people be so intelligent without the effect of Europeans? Without the education of Europeans? How would that even be possible? And yet still to this day, y'all don't got an answer. Your best and your brightest are still questioning the Dogon tribe, still studying them, still can't quantify any type of an answer. But yet you want to talk about, oh, Africans didn't know about the will until 1986. Y'all didn't know about a lot of stuff. Like I said before, when y'all first got to North America, it took the natives to help you survive. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? It's crazy work. Yo, hey, Tippy, what is up? You said you've been in the chat and I still haven't acknowledged. Much love, respect, and appreciation, Tippy. I see you. I see you. Like, this is crazy work directly out here. Bro, I don't care what you sit up there and think. If it was repetitive and boring, you should have been left out. You should have been dipped a long time ago. Like, yo, you could have been somewhere else for the longest time possible. You said so with that question, it projects superiority on someone who doesn't like being victimized. Where's your human empathy? It's non-existent. Your arrogance shows just in your question, your lack of love. I don't even know who you're talking about. Like I said, I need y'all to start atting people or at me to let me know who it is specifically that y'all even talking to. Like, that's crazy. Crazy work. Shout out to J. Cole. Don't save them. They don't want to be saved. Shout out to J. Cole. You said, Lisa said, we're going to stop letting these troll haters interrupt our lives. They're doing it purposely, but it's all right. Keep adding up those karma points. Oh, yeah, that's what I do every day. Like I said, as long as they're here, like I said, bring all of your hate. Bring everything that you feel in your family and friends and whatever pale horse that you rode in on, including whatever God or deity or whatever it is that you don't believe in. Bring all of that here because I have time. Like I said, I am not like the other content creators directly out here. I will sit up there and specifically make time. Because like I said, I got nothing but time. We can do that. I got nothing but the time and energy. Unless, I feel like going to find something to eat, which is technically about that time. Because all I had was coffee today. That was the only meal. just to be real, woke up and started doing this live stream. Yeah, Bernice Johnson said your SS number is traded on the stock market. We are owned by a corporation. Yeah, and like I said, I've been trying to tell these clowns for the longest time, but they don't want to sit up there and listen. You got a lot of these white Americans out here that's like, oh, we're free. We're in this country. You think that you're free. You maybe at one time y'all being free was actually true. Before the government got to where it is at this moment in time, y'all ain't free. If the government said they need to start drafting men from the ages of 16 to like 45, guess what? They're going to do it. And if you don't go into that draft, guess what? They're going to put you in prison and jail, and they'll do it. It ain't nothing that you can sit up there and do. They will sit up there and take all of your sons, your nephews, your grandsons directly out there and you. But y'all think that y'all free, though. That's crazy work. You said, I don't see color. My family is interracial. My grandbabies are mixed. I'm not sure if you're joking or not, but within everything interracial and mixed, all of those are colors. It don't matter if you mix black and white, that's still a color. You mix green and red, it's mixed, it's still a color. Like what are you even saying right now? Like, for the most part, that mixed, for all intents and purposes, is a category for people who are of two different types or nations. People, it could be black, white, Asian, whatever. Just for the simple fact that that is an actual category in a lot of places around the world, I need people to start researching and learning some stuff, because I literally just went over this about 1 to 2 live streams ago, where I put up the one picture where it told you about the different types of mixtures in the United States. And then I also did the exact same thing when it dealt with South Africa and how it is that they had their apartheid laws or acts that they passed all the way from 1911 all the way to 1968. And how it is that they had white/European, how they had black, how they had colored, how they had Asian and Indian. So like I said before, I need people to stop with this type of nonsense. Just saying. Let me just highlight something real quick. I just want to re-highlight. Shout out to Brother Allen for the $5 donate to the channel. Shout out to one of many that said their FBI even stated that the white nationalists are the greatest threat to America, even worldwide security. One gave out another donation. Shout out for the $2 donation. You said that their own psyche will consume them. Factual. Bars. 100%. But like I said, y'all pull up to the scene and y'all want to sit up there and troll, and y'all got the right one today. Technically, possibly even every day, because we are here. Unless I happen to take a day off. Miss Anderson said, I'm tired of hearing I don't see color. Well, how do you know who's who? That's true. That's 100% true. And the crazy part is a lot of these people that say that they don't see color, when it dealt with some of the Europeans coming over that were darker complected, they weren't trying to sit up there and claim them. They were trying to call them anything else but American. Even Europeans over there in Europe are not trying to claim the darkest Europeans. It's the craziest work. Like I said, shout out to Hulk Hogan. What did he say? He's racist to a point, and he's Italian. And then magically, somehow, some way, the Europeans, the Italians over there, they can tan. How do you think that that's possible? How? Now, I know that I can sit up there and gain some melanin because the sun loves it. But how would that be possible for somebody that's technically Caucasian? That would mean that your blood is mixed with others. But yet nobody wants to actually claim that and talk about it. It's crazy work. See what else we got? Uh-oh, Seth said, imagine a grown man crying about his skin color. You need Christ, buddy. Wait, aren't y'all the same ones that went online that wanted to say that blacks and other minorities out here are, they hate white people? Hate white men? Like, aren't y'all the same ones? So isn't that basically crying about skin color or lack thereof? Isn't that the same thing? I'm just saying, because last time I checked, Seth, Black Americans were the ones that had rules, laws, and regulations against them solely because of the color of their skin. What did you actually have? You were young, white, 21, and free. That's all you had. That's it. You could just go around the world. You could do whatever it is that you want to sit up there and do and lay claim to whatever land. That's it. But yet you want to sit up there and try to say that I'm crying. No, you just ain't listening. But the funny part is when the government comes at your front door knocking and you can't defend yourself, you're going to be the one crying. Your family's going to be the one crying. Because it's going to be lay down and stay down. That's it. So you're laughing now and you're going to be crying later. And it's going to be by way of your own community, your own people. So we can have that. You said you're vouching for whites to take repercussions for slavery hundreds of years, even though it wasn't hundreds of years ago. If you look some places in the United States, slavery didn't end up until the late or the early 1970s. It's like y'all regurgitate the exact same stuff and don't even do history Don't even do research when it deals with the United States and when certain things ended. That's the craziest thing. There's literally a documentary of a guy who is still living on a family-owned plantation. And he's sitting up there telling, he got pictures of his parents, I think his father, with the family up there and everything. Like what? Like, you could easily look up a lot of stuff. But y'all tend not to sit up there and do that. Y'all don't want to do it because you would rather just regurgitate the same information versus learning something new and actually educating yourself and trying to further your knowledge base. So that you're actually going on the right path. Y'all refuse to sit up there and do any of that. You sit up there and told Tippy that her hate is blinding. No. You got that wrong. America is the only one that has induced hate to anybody. Let's just be real. America is the one that did it. Who owns America? Who created America? Who founded America? Who is in all of the different seats when it deals with representation of the government in America? Who's the head of the military in America? And so on and so on and so on. Who makes the armaments, the weapons, and yada, yada, yada. Rules, laws, regulations. Who runs the police? The same exact police who once were the land overseers when it dealt with slavery. The slave masters were the same ones who are now in Congress and the Senate and the government and yada, yada, yada. It's the exact same thing. You just switch titles and clothes. And now instead of actually just enslaving one group, it's everybody. But goth Peter Pan, I guess you don't understand it. Like I said before, I repeat myself time and time again, and people still refuse to actually pay attention and listen. And a lot of y'all are older than me, and that's the craziest part. That's the craziest thing. It's crazy work. Oh yeah. Lehman Lucas said, don't forget the one drop rule. Yeah. Yep. It's crazy. And then on top of that, it don't matter if kids are interracial or mixed. There were videos where I covered of Caucasian men who were online that got full-on black wives and mixed kids, and they were still racist online. So that don't mean nothing. A lot of the slave masters who had their black side pieces, side wives with their side kids, side family, they were racist as all get out. So it's like, it don't mean nothing. Like, notice if anybody black has even adopted like a white child, they're not sitting up there saying like, oh, I can't be racist because I got a white kid that I adopted. We don't do that. We don't do anything like that. It just is what it is. Like, hey, we adopted a child that was in need. Wow. We don't make some type of big fuss. We're not looking for congratulations. We did what needs to be done. But every single time that I see y'all sit up there and adopt somebody, oh, you adopted this kid from Haiti. You adopted this kid from some black city like Chicago or Detroit. You adopted some African kid directly from Africa. And y'all want to make this big fuss. Charlize Theron, Madonna, and many others. As if y'all really doing this good deed for the world. When really there would be no need for any of these things if you guys would not have touched any of these continents. If everything was left how it was supposed to be left, guess what? Everything would have been fine and dandy. But y'all don't know how to leave well enough alone. So because of that, and because of history, and because of karma, you guys are going to sit up there and suffer a great deal. And it is what it is. It is what it is. It's crazy work. Let me see what we got. Uh-oh, said professional victim. That's a shame. Y'all going to be professional victims by the United States government in a second, like y'all have always been. But you don't want to see yourselves as victims because that's how the government raised you. You think that, you just above it all. And you'll soon find out. You'll soon realize that you're in a rat race. You'll soon realize that you're no longer in a race when it deals with finances of people that are just in the United States. But now this is a world stage that now you got to compete with everybody else. And that's the problem with America. America was always so used to just competing with itself and internally. They forgot about everybody else because they felt that they were unimportant, or the ones that they felt were important. They made sure to bring them directly over so that they can have the best and the brightest from everywhere else. But here we are. Well, now we got tariffs. Now we got disagreements with all of these other countries. Everything is on edge. People don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. Food and everything is going up. People can barely afford their rent and their housing and their mortgage and their cars, and people can barely pay back their loans. Sounds like slaves to me. Sounds like slaves. Sounds like slaves. Yep, remember Thomas Jefferson? That's facts. Like I said, it's crazy out here. It's crazy. Also, shout out to all 126 people that are currently here at this moment in time. Much love, respect, and appreciation to all of you guys. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Also, much love, respect, and appreciation to anybody that was listening to my voice for the good 2 hours and 26 minutes that we have been going live. Shout out to anybody who became a member of the channel, who subscribed, who donated by way of Patreon, Cash App, or through the channel stickers. Shout out, much love and appreciation to you guys. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you. And like I said, this is why I love live streams. So also shout out to the trolls. You guys are the real MVPs, because you guys come through every single day. It doesn't matter if it's Mo, if it's Hack, if it's Ty sitting up there just banning y'all to the shadow realm. Y'all come right back through with Google account 9,999 just to let me know that you love me and care that much. Thank you. I appreciate it. You could have been anywhere else across YouTube, listening to anything else, but you decided to spend time with me. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But anyways, again, love you guys a lot. Appreciate you guys. And hopefully this live stream was very entertaining. You guys were able to take something directly from it. And remember, any of the videos that I just so happen to show, I will have that in a shorter format, long form video, probably roughly about 8 to maybe 15 minutes, depending on the length of the video, for you guys to digest a little bit later on the channel as well, just in case you don't want to sit through a full 2 hours and 30 minutes of me just yammering and talking. But anyways, love you guys, appreciate you guys, and you guys are free. You guys are free. Go get some food, order some food, get your feng shui directly in order. Go buy some video games that just came out. The PSN State of Play was trash. It was terrible. Just to let all those PSN players know that Sony's trash. Shout out to the outage and that weekend of PS Plus, which ain't worth nothing. And I will see you guys in the next live stream and or video. Peace out and stay safe and have a good drive home.